guys are off for a little bit, hanging out of school, and give us an update on the off season when they come back, and how things will ramp back up.
Yeah, so everybody finished their exams last week, and then went home, get some time to see their family and that sort of thing. We'll resume our summer program. Everybody will report back by June 14th, and then we start our workouts on the 16th. So I think now is an important time for them to get the time with their family and friends and kind of get away from it a little bit. And we'll get back to work in a month or so.
What about a health update on Taman? How's he kind of progressing, and any other guys?
Yeah, Taman's great. He's been great with our workouts at the end of the year. He's totally healthy. I don't know how to put a number on, hey, he's 100% or what that is, but he's healthy, he's moving great, he feels great. He's doing an excellent job with the weight room and agility and things that he needs to be working on right now. So excited to get him back playing at full strength.
How awesome was it to put Cade on scholarship?
Yeah, Cade has done so much for our program over the 2 years. When you look at what he does on the court every day in practice, how he carries himself, how much it means to him to be a Cyclone, and then we were able to count on him late in the year. We had some injuries, and we were able to count on him down the stretch. Was really impactful. So felt like he earned that right, earned that opportunity, and he's going to be somebody, again, as he moves forward. I've shared with them, don't take a backseat to anybody. Continue to be out there fighting every day. You never know what opportunity can present itself.
You are the only Big 12 school, I think, to return at least 50% of your scoring, and I think 47% of your minutes from a year ago. How much pride do you take in that much production returning from a year ago?
I think for everybody, the two things that you hear coaches talk about all the time is that you want to have, returning, production, you want to have the retention, and then you want to have older team. And so to be able to keep guys, like Joshua and Taman and Milan, Nate Heisey, and we just talked about Cade, it's so important because the carryover from one year to the next, the foundation, the leadership that they can provide, I think it allows you to hit the ground running when you get to practice in June and then beyond, as opposed to when you're starting with a group that's totally new. So fortunate to be in the position that we are.
The 4 transfers that you brought in, they all seem to play significant minutes or start at their previous years. How much do you look for previous production as you evaluate the core?
I think we're looking for very specific guys, right? I think when you look at the front court with Buchanan and with Mulder, they're guys that are really great feet, intelligent players, guys that can change speeds and directions. Our pick and roll defense, we want the speed. We want guys that have the ability, if we play them on pocket passes, short rolls, can be great decision makers, assistant turnover guys. Mulder was, by Ken Palm, the most efficient player in the entire country. Buchanan is a really gifted passer and lob threat. So those are things we look at for those positions. At the 5 position, we want guys that are tremendous effort-based players. And then when you look at Mason Williams and with Dominic Nelson, both are taller, longer guards with a lot of upside. Both need to continue to get stronger and add, continue to build their core strength and things like that. But with Dominic is a downhill playmaking, gets to the foul line about as well as anybody does, and attacking in transition. And then, with Mason, he's more a guy that can make plays off the balance as well as make shots and that sort of thing. So really, we like the character, we like the size, we like the decision making. Guys that we really think have more upside and can develop and who want to work to develop. We've seen that work really well for a guy like Kurt Jones. His background is not that much different than those two guys, and so we feel good about our ability to develop, those guys in those spots.
How's the health of the rest of the team look? Is there any injuries that going into the offseason you guys have to work on?
No, not really. Joshua's had down the stretch even a little bit, just, with some muscle strains and things like that. He had surgery the year before, so it was a long season. And again, when you're playing 34, 35 minutes a game down the stretch, there's going to be some wear and tear and things along those lines. So we just tried to make sure with him that he gets the right amount of rest and time away as well. But he's a competitor, and part of that now is making sure that he's healthy. But Milan's been great, Heisey's been great, Kelderman's been great. So all those guys, feel really good about. And again, when the new guys get here, you kind of evaluate everybody and see where they're at until they get here. You don't want to get too far in front of things. So we'll, we get them in, we do the physical right away and kind of assess things from there.
Following up on the transfers, the incoming guys, seems to be a common theme where they feel like they were under the radar, overlooked a little bit, but they come here with something to prove. Is that something, is that just like a common trait or common theme that you've seen in the transfers?
Yeah, I mean, those are the guys that have seemingly done well for us, that felt like we had a shared vision, the guys that we felt like they had more ability than maybe what they accomplished at the prior stop, whether it was they weren't asked to do as much, whether they're coming up a level, those things. And we've seen guys over the last few years that have done really well for us with those backgrounds. So I do think the chip on the shoulder is always going to be something that we look for and we think is important. I think guys that have those work habits and that character every single day, and then we talk a lot about, like, you do have to really want to be here, and you have to want to be here for the schedule that we hold, the work capacity that we demand, the habits on a daily basis, and that's not for everybody. And I think guys that really are rooted in development and want to do the work every single day, those guys will do really well for us. So we're excited about this group. It feels the same.
So you mentioned Dominic's ability to get to the free throw line, which is well publicized, but just how huge is that to add that as part of, I guess, something you feel lay that over the quarterly, because that's going to work at any level, his ability to.
Yeah, what's been interesting is if you look at the last guy we've added each year, like the first year, the last guy we added was Isaiah Brockington, right? The last guy that we added last year, or 2 years ago, was Kurt Jones, right? And so there's been some of those, like the last guy you add is something that you really need and really can really fit in. And I think with Dominic, that downhill playmaking ability is certainly unique. I mean, look, he was the conference player of the year in the WAC, right? And to be the conference player of the year means your team has to win a lot, you have to play well, and then you have to be consistent over time. And so to me, when you're recruiting guys who have proven to win and proven to produce, and then you're elevating their role and their ability. I mean, Dominic has a very similar story to what Jaron Holmes had or what Kurt Jones had, right? Like somebody that wasn't highly recruited out of high school, started in junior college, had to kind of grind their way through, got first chance at a mid-major school in Division I, had success, helped make his team win. Now, bring it to the Big 12, bring it to Iowa State. So we feel really confident in his abilities.
With Nelson, too, when you look at guys, evaluate guys like that and a possible fit and if they can play at this level, I think one of his better games was against Stanford last year, too. Do you watch a game like that, or how do you kind of get the full scope?
Yeah, you do. You certainly, you want to see guys at their best and you want to see guys at their worst. At least that's what I like to do. So see, what does it look like when he's really struggling? What does it look like when you're playing well? But then your point, for guys at the mid-major level, what does it look like when they play Power 5 teams? When there's a little more size, a little more athleticism, a little more rim protection, and as you mentioned, that was one of his best, if not his best game, was the game against Stanford. So I think we put a lot of stock. I mean, even Eric Mulder, games where he played against Central Florida and had games against other Power 5 programs where he did well. Certainly that gives you a feeling of confidence. Okay, when they played the level of competition that they'll be playing in the Big 12 every night, they performed well and they performed at that level. So I think with Dominic, certainly we believe that as he comes up from Utah Valley here, that the same speed, athleticism that gets him in the paint and his playmaking skills are going to translate. Now we probably, we got to continue to get stronger. We got to continue to do the work in the weight room and then expand, his ability to shoot the ball to help open up the court more for him.
What do you enjoy about this tour?
It's great to connect with our fans throughout the state. I mean, we're so appreciative during the year, the support that we have. I mean, Hilton Coliseum is arguably the best home court in all of college basketball, and that's a credit to all of our fans that make the trip. When there's snow on the ground, when there's weather conditions, and they're just passionate, they want to be there. So this is our opportunity to get out, say thanks, shake everybody's hand, and to me, it's that gratitude and that feeling of being able to connect with people that support us that makes this so cool.
How about the bus ride? You coaches.
Yeah, we have camaraderie on the bus. Absolutely. Yeah, Coach Dresser's a great storyteller, so we get a lot of intel from Coach Dresser. But no, it's fun. It's a great opportunity to connect with all the coaches and spend that time with one another, and we certainly all look forward to it.
You and Dresser arm wrestle?
No. Dresser's actually a real wrestler. He's a national champ, so I got to defer to him. Andy's he's got experience on me as well. So, Dresser's the man.
When the Big 12 has now gone back down to an 18 game week schedule, you have added Purdue, Mississippi State. How much of a cognizant effort did you put into maybe replacing those two games in your non-conference schedule, in addition to obviously Iowa, Players Era, things that you're doing to ramp up the non-con?
Yeah, I think it's important that we want to have a competitive strength of schedule. We want to have games in the non-league that give us a chance to get quality wins and also learn about our team and play the best team. So Mississippi State, again, a program that's been a mainstay in the NCAA tournament. Coach Jans is a tremendous coach, one of the best coaches in the country. To play Purdue, we're looking at a team that's, they've been just coming off 2 years from national title, but they'll be a preseason 1, 2, or 3 type team, so really good. And Coach Painter's, one of the most consistent coaches over his 20-year tenure at Purdue. He's been so good. So we've really tried to have those opportunities. And then with the multi-team event, it's been our goal since we've been here to try to play in the best one, to try to play in the one where we can play the best competition. And the Players Era certainly is that. And so to have 3 opportunities against that field of 17 other teams is going to give us another 3 challenging games. So we are really trying to work hard to replace, when you have 20 league games and you go to 18, you want to make sure that there's no let-up with your schedule.
At the same time, I imagine that you struggle to get games like preseason number 3 against Purdue when you first got here. How much is the growth of your program, the success of your program, contributing to your ability to schedule marquee non-conference games against Purdue and Mississippi State, be invited to Players Era?
Yeah, I think those are really credit to the young in our program, what they've done, because those are opportunities that maybe wouldn't have existed a few years back. And to be able to play quality teams, because look, on the other side, both teams have to have an agreement, right? So the other team has to feel like it benefits them. So for Purdue to feel like it benefits them to do a home and home with us says a lot about where we moved as a program. Or for the Players Era tournament, for the most part, from what I understand, pretty much everybody wanted to be in that tournament. And there's 4 teams from our league that are in it, and we're one of those teams. So it is with a lot of pride and appreciation for what guys have accomplished in the last couple of years that I feel like has given our program a level of credibility on a national level to be able to get those individual games as well as playing those events.
Thanks a lot, Coach.
Thanks, guys.